Determine how many times more intense the first quake was compared to the second. We have Alaska's and Charleston, South Carolina. One is a 9.2, one's a 7.3. 9.2, that is significant. Holy cow. Wouldn't be one near a 9.2. 7.1's bad enough. 9.2 is pretty bad. Depends upon how well your buildings are built, whether or not it would even survive a 9.2. You can see what happens in third world countries when they have a earthquake. What happens with the buildings?
They just kind of crumble.
They just crumble, yeah. That's when you have a lot of deaths. Okay, so here we go. I know I line now between two. And so we're going to do Alaska. And Alaska, we want to find the intensity. So it says compare the intensities. So Alaska, we have the log of I divided by I sub 0. This is going to be 9.2. And again, we know the drill, right? This is base 10. So that I divided by I0 is 10 to the 9.2. Or the intensity is 10 to the 9.2 I sub 0. So if we have Charleston, we have the log of I divided by I sub 0 is 7.3. I divided by I sub 0 is, now remember again, this is base 10. So it's 10 to the 7.3. Or I is 10 to the 7.3 I sub 0. But we now know, if you look at the pattern, if somebody would come to me and say, well, its intensity was 10 to the 9.2 I sub 0, all you do is look at the exponent and you say, well, it's 9.2. It's 9.2 on the Richter scale. Just like this one, 7.3 on the Richter scale. So that they can't get us anymore. What I ended up doing to say, we wanted to make the comparison, and it says, how many more times intense? Well, I want to know what would make these two suckers equal. What would make 10 to the 9.2, you could say I sub 0, but the I sub 0s are going to cancel out, equal to 10 to the 7.3. Well, this is going to be times something. This is going to be times 10 to some power. Okay, that's going to give me essentially how many times more one was the other. So if I take 10 to the 9.2 divided by 10 to the 7.3 is 10 to the x. Now remember, if the bases are the same, what do you do with the exponents? Subtract them, right? So this actually comes out to be, and I want to put this in just for the sake of 9.2 minus 7.3. This gives me 10 to the 1.9 is equal to 10 to the x. And this is where I'm wrong. This should be just plain x. I was right the first time. Times something. Because otherwise I'm going to screw up. So I need to fix this. So that this is, x is actually 79.4. So it's 79.4 times more intense. What do we mostly care about? Who's bigger? When you come right down to it. 7.3 cannot at all measure up to a 9.2.